Some men are forged in fire, and some are forged in the screaming silence of a Birmingham factory, where dust settles like resignation and the sky forgets what blue ever was. Ozzy Osbourne was born in that place, but he wasn't made for it. He was made for thunder. He was a boy who couldn't spell, who got locked in school closets and punched clocks until the world didn't make sense. And then one day he screamed into a microphone and the whole goddamn universe screamed back. And that's what he leaves us with. A howl that sounded like pain but hit like salvation. A sound that cracked open the sky and gave birth to heavy metal. They called him a madman, a demon, a burnout. And he wore those titles like armor, but he was never any of those things. He was one of the kindest souls to ever snarl into a microphone. He loved with a full heart, broke down behind the curtain, and lived a life so brutally honest that it scared the clean ones. He made music for the broken, for the outcast, for the ones who couldn't say what was wrong but felt it all the same. Ozzy didn't just front a band, he fronted a movement. When Black Sabbath released their first album in 1970, they rewrote the DNA of rock and roll. No more peace and love, no more sunshine harmonies. This was the sound of dread, of working class fury, of a world on fire. War Pigs wasn't a song, it was prophecy. Iron Man wasn't fiction, it was survival, and Ozzy stood at the center of all of it like a prophet in a leather jacket, screaming warnings into the void. And when Sabbath pushed him out, he didn't fade, he lit a fuse and went solo. Blizzard of Oz wasn't just a comeback, it was resurrection. Randy Rhoads on guitar, lyrics full of guilt, confusion, and rage and love, and Ozzy sang like a madman trying to outpace the devil, and for a while he did. And Crazy Train wasn't just a hit, it was a diagnosis, and we all climbed on board willingly. But it wasn't just the fire we loved him for, it was a tenderness buried underneath it, that soft, scared voice behind the chaos. Mama, I'm Coming Home sounded like an apology to every person he'd ever disappointed, including himself. He gave us madness, but he also gave us mercy. He gave us dreamer. He gave us truth. Ozzy was the first rock star who felt like one of us. He was never cool in the way Mick Jagger was cool. He was way cooler because he never lied, never tried to fake genius. He was a goddamn genius in the most beautifully broken form. He fucked up publicly. He cried on stage. He looked into the camera and told the whole world he didn't know how he was still alive, and we loved him for it. Because he was still alive until now. He died today at 76, and it feels like the volume just got turned down on the entire generation of rebellion. It feels like the end of a thunderstorm that lasted 50 years, but Ozzy doesn't die. The body, sure, the Parkinson's, the pain, the surgeries, the damage done by a life lived so wide open it bled, that part ends. But not the soul, not the music, not the way he made us feel like misfits could be holy. He was the Blizzard of Oz, the Prince of Darkness. But more than that, he was a father, a husband, a sweetheart, a man who laughed like a child and cursed like a sailor and gave the world his guts and his voice and asked for nothing but the stage and a crowd who needed to scream along. He gave his final performance just weeks ago, seated on a throne in Birmingham, a king saying goodbye, and when he sang Paranoid, we cried because it wasn't just a song anymore, it was a prayer. A final offering from a man who carried our fears so we didn't have to. Ozzy leaves behind a world softer than the one he found. He made it safer to be strange. He made it okay to be damaged. And he proved over and over and over again that madness can be music and music can be salvation. So here's to the sweet soul and the backbiting madman, and to the man who howled us through our darkest nights and left behind a thunder that will never die. Rest well, Ozzy. And if you see God, scream something loud and rude at him just so he knows you made it.